Well, Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk, was in this hearing, and he was read all the charges that could lead him to the death penalty or 25 years to life in prison. And many people are saying that there was basically no body language to analyze because he was like with that all the time, but I disagree. There were subtle movements at certain times that we're going to pick up, and especially what was being said at that moment. You know that interaction between the body language reactions of somebody and what are they reacting to is ultimately how to reach a conclusion. So let's start with the first clip in which they're reading the first part of the hearing.
I have reviewed the pretrial protective order and will be issuing this pretrial protective order in favor of Erica Kirk. Is there any other business that we need to address today, counsel?
I noticed a very subtle reaction when Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, was mentioned. He had this really, really subtle. It was like a raising his chin. Here he comes. There he is. He tilts his head upwards. You could imagine that if somebody was, embarrassed or maybe regretful of what he did, if he hears the name of the widow who he shot and dead, maybe he would try to hide his gaze. His eyes would go down or to the side. Maybe he will lower his face, but it's the opposite. He stays looking at the screen and even raises his chin a bit of arrogance, as in, I don't care. That's the attitude that he has. It's beyond cold, because there's a reaction when he hears the name of Erica Kirk. We continue with the second clip. This one is interesting. Let me adjust the frame so we can see the captions. And
just for the court's information, we did file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty that was filed by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray. So that should be in the court's file.
There's two things that happen here when the words death penalty are said. I'm going to play it again, but this time I'm going to zoom in on his face so you can see two things. First, he is going to nod, as in, I understand the death penalty thing, and he's going to, well, what I mentioned a couple minutes, 1 minute ago, that looking down and to one side. Here we go.
Minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty that was filed by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray. So that should be in the court's file.
There is some reaction to that. He acknowledges that what he did, well, it's death penalty in Utah. I think that he already knew about that. Maybe he spoke to his father before his father turned him in. And looking down and to one side, maybe he's thinking of somebody. We don't know of what is that somebody he's thinking about. Maybe it's his boyfriend. Could be a clue. I should go again through those text messages, because there are new developments regarding those text messages that we were talking about yesterday that make no sense. But this is the other clip that I wanted to show you. And regardless of what you can see in his face, there are other things, especially in his body. Even if he doesn't move his hands at any time and you cannot see him moving, there's something that we do that is a breathing pattern. Maybe at some point you will need to identify that. So let's pay attention to the whole picture to see if there's any emotional markers in this one.
Lastly, I would just indicate to the court and to, at this point, Mr. Robinson, that we are prepared to collect all of the discovery in this matter and get that turned over to the defense as soon as possible. Rule 16 requires us to provide what we have relied on in charging the information and bringing these charges within 5 days once it's requested. So that'll be prepared to disseminate to the defense as soon as possible.
Notice that he constantly nods with every single word said. He's acknowledging, he's accepting that he is. I see him like he has already accepted his fate, what he did, the responsibility. I don't know if so many people are saying, okay, maybe this guy is a patsy, maybe he's not the right guy. I mean, I myself, I cannot say with 100% certainty that this is the guy. That there's so many questions, and even if his DNA was tied to the trigger of the rifle, I don't know. There must be other clues that and other part of the evidence that could really confirm that he was the one who pulled the trigger. I am not defending him in any way. If he chose to turn him into maybe let's say distract or deviated the attention from another person, well, that's on him. That is his responsibility. I think that he's well aware of what is going to happen to him, and his body language shows it. This is another clip, this one.
In that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk. And
there is a incredibly subtle display of disgust. I'm going to play this again twice. I'm going to zoom in so you can spot the moment that he, in a very subtle way, you're going to try to focus your eyes on his mouth, and especially in this highlight here that would help you notice how his mouth moves after they say that, well, he provoked the death of Charlie Kirk, that he killed Charlie Kirk. So pay attention to his mouth. I'm going to do it with a super zoom, and then we're going to do it with a normal zoom so you can spot it again. Here we go.
Intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly
right there. You saw it. I'm going to play it again.
Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk.
Sometimes it's hard to spot when we have zoom in, especially with this kind of quality. I'm going to do a medium zoom so you can spot again the same movement when they mention that he killed Charlie Kirk. Here we go.
Intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of...
There's this pressing of the lips. There's a bit of contempt in there. Just the mouth moves just a couple millimeters to his left side. And one thing that you might have noticed that I think that not that many people have noticed is that he doesn't blink that much. I haven't really calculated the amount of blinks per minute, but I'm pretty sure that he is blinking way less than the normal rate of blinking. But that movement of the mouth was a reaction, maybe the actual hate he has for Charlie Kirk and everything that Charlie Kirk stands for. So that checks out. Maybe that's one of the body language signals that we could take as in, this is the right guy. They got the right guy. Maybe you disagree. Again, we should have more information about this. We could have more information about this. This is another clip we're going to watch. Sorry, the captions, just in case it's important. Yeah.
Mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years. That may be for life.
Notice that when they are mentioning that there's a possibility of 25 years without parole or prison for life, notice his chest. I'm going to play this a bit earlier. Notice how his chest moves. This time, you're going to pay attention to his chest.
76.3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years. That may be for life.
There's a deep breath with that one. It's like, all right, I prefer the death penalty. Just kill me. and that's it, and end this for good. But seems to me that he's really afraid of the jail time, that he doesn't want the jail time. He actually wants death. And, well, having a suicide-proof vest, it helps a lot. And, yeah, he is still in suicide watch for, well, you can imagine the reasons. Now, we can jump all the way to the end, in which there's another emotional reaction that I want to show you.
Mr. Robinson, this case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time.
That was a bit odd. I invite you to join us at that time. What other option does he have? Can he just sit this one out? No, he cannot. And that was the only time, that movement that you saw.
For September 29th at 10 a.m., it will be a waiver hearing, and I will be...
That is the only time that he makes any sort of a movement throughout the whole hearing. So what I see that two things. This guy actually doesn't like Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to say that he hates Charlie Kirk, but I'm pretty sure that he doesn't like him. Second, he's not really afraid of the death penalty. We need to talk about those text messages again. There are new developments about those strange text messages. And the other thing is that he's really afraid of going to jail. Has this deep breath. He does this another point of the video. I didn't want to just repeat the same emotional markers, but he repeats that behavior at other points of the video. So yeah, it's consistent with the fact that maybe he was expecting that this was going to end just like that. I'm going to go out with a bang like a hero. I know that so many of you still have many doubts that he's just a patsy, somebody else did it. I already made a video making it very clear that yes, the shot was from the front. But again, still need more information to have a solid conclusion. I'm always open for you to send me your ideas to Twitter, Instagram, on my email. And let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Battle Language Guy. Much love and bliss.